So already, I'm not playing this year. We got stuff to do. It's now or never. It's now or never. Just do it.
Just do it.
So today, this is my first video for my mini loc info series. And let's get right into it. I have info and tips and advice for y'all. I don't have the most perfect locks. Nobody has perfect locks. That's what makes your locks perfect. Every last person on this earth, their locks are dumb different. So let's get started. Let's start with starters. Anybody can get starters. Anybody can get locks. I'm not gonna go into that. Will I service anybody for locks? Now, anybody can get locks. Let's talk about starters. Anybody can get locks, but with starters, from my experience, twisting fine hair, twisting coarse hair, it doesn't matter. Those little coils come out beautiful every time. It doesn't matter the texture. So don't let anybody tell you that your texture is not going to take, or maybe you shouldn't get locks because your hair is so fine anyways. They might, thin your hair out altogether. That's not true. Now, the finer your hair, the longer the starter process. And by that, I mean the finer the hair, the longer your hair is going to take its time to lock up. But that doesn't mean your hair is never going to lock up. I had a client, he's mixed, and he said his starter locks would not lock for like a year. But guess what? He's had them for over 10 years now, and he's got some really beautiful locks. So use that as motivation in itself. Okay, so starters. So when I do starters, and this is kind of like across the board, you need to have a clean head. And it's best to start them. You definitely want to have a clean head and a little bit of damp hair. It's easier to manipulate damp hair. It's easier to manipulate damp or moisturize or product comb throughout hair. The hair with your starters, if you're doing them or you're having somebody do them, you can kind of feel when somebody's doing your hair if they're doing it right or not. With starters, with locks, everything needs to be twisted to the right. So when you're getting your starters or when you're getting your retwists, and they are not spinning and twisting, however they palm roll, they comb coil, they comb twist, they just use their hands. If that thing is not going to the right, ask them what they're doing. Ask them what are they doing. Locks grow with time. Time goes to the right. Your starters though, don't get them wet. Do not wash them. Leave your hair alone. When you get your starters, leave them alone for at least that first month. Leave them alone. Try your best not to get your hair wet. And that's, let's do the whole stereotypical thing. Black people don't like to get their hair wet. Because why? Because it literally messes up your hairstyle, or it can take away from the longevity of the hairstyle. Literally the same with locks. Don't just be casually getting your hair wet. Starters especially, and then mature locks, don't just be casually getting your hair wet unless you know you're going to sit under the dryer soon. Wet hair, wet locks, oh, I'm going to sleep on it, it'll dry. Okay, and it's going to build up mold and mildew and dirt inside the lock, and it'll grow from the inside out, and that's where that white looking stuff starts to show up. That's not that's not just on the outside. Not all locks have porosity. Not all locks are gonna, not all hair is porous. Not all hair soaks everything up. So yeah, some dirt, some product buildup will just sit on your lock. But if you got like that stuff where, okay, so you have some buildup and you take a lock and you're picking it, and it just keeps coming more and more and more and more, it's because it's on the inside of your lock. Inside of your lock. It's on the inside of your lock. How do you get it out? Cut it off. If you want, dye it or leave it alone and learn from your mistakes. Do better. Wrap your hair. Put a bonnet on. Get a do-rag. Get a scarf. Or get a dread sock if you're like weird about the terms and your masculinity. Get a dread sock. It's just like a straight elongated bonnet. It's not the big poofy thing. You just wrap your hair. Leave your starters alone. Please do not get your hair casually wet unless you know you're gonna dry it. Blow dry it, heat dry it thoroughly. What else? Moisturization, oils, not every day. You don't need to. You got locks. They're thick. You don't want to keep building up product, whether it's good for you or not. You don't want to have a bunch of stuff just sitting on your hair. They have to penetrate. That's why I say honestly, I spray this, it says Jamaican lime, but it's milk and honey leave-in conditioner, black vanilla leave-in conditioner, and water. And I spritz it probably every other day. And I just do this, and then I'll style my hair. Or if like I'm about to really manipulate my hair, I will spray this heavily on my roots so I'm not causing breakage. But you don't want to oil and moisturize your hair every day. And if you are going to moisturize, oils, spray oils, or leave-in conditioners. But even if you buy a leave-in conditioner, dilute it more with water. You don't want all that on your hair. Like, I'm washing your hair with locks. You can wash your hair. I once again, a black standard, you should not be washing your hair every week, unless maybe you do wigs and you switch it up a lot, or you're just super versatile and you know how to come with a routine to restore moisture in your hair. Otherwise, you do not need to be washing your hair but maybe 2 times a month. I'm so serious. Our hair is more prone to be dry. Our hair is way more prone to break off. Breaking off comes from stripping the oils. Stripping the oils comes from overwashing your hair. Leave your hair alone. One more thing about starters. Like I said, everybody's hair is different. Just because somebody else's starters or lock journey came right along, easy peasy lemon squeezy, and yours has been easy, difficult, lemon difficult, I'm sorry. But it's not your fault. It is not your hair's fault. There's nothing wrong with your hair. There's nothing, the way they did your locks, they didn't do them wrong. There's nothing wrong with it. Like I said, everybody's hair is different, so everybody's journey is going to be different. My hair, I'm not going to lie. By 2-3 months, my hair was locking. I had a beautiful journey. Like, I went through the ugly stage. I had went through the ugly stage. I'm going to drop some pictures right here. Definitely went through a little bit of an ugly stage. Ugly, but not even ugly, because I really love my locks. Like, I bought a wig and I wore it for like a couple weeks because I just really love my locks. I wanted to see what they were doing. Everybody's locks are different. Everybody's locks are different. Everybody's hair is different. Your hair is finding its way. You got it formed into a lock, yes, but your hair is gonna form into its locks. You know what I'm saying? Poofiness, fluffiness, good. It's finding its way. It's forming. So, like, I'll break it down, my analogy, the way I've seen my hair. I'll add some pictures, actually, when I started budding and when they started getting fluffy, and then when they came back down into their own. Budding literally means, you see this? So I think my locks were literally this short when I started. This little hump, that's where it started to bud. That's where it started to fluff out and come back together, because it was like, oh, we got to stay like this. Okay, we're going to get back into motion. Your hair is fine. Trust the process. A lock journey is literally all about trusting the process, finding your confidence, but really believing in yourself, trusting the process. Sherlocks. People that get their hair retwisted and your loctician, your hairstylist is clipping your ends. Why are you letting them do that? Did you ask them? Did they tell you where they were going to? Did they tell you why they did that? No. You just hear at the end of your retwist? Tell them to stop doing that. Or make them explain what is the purpose, what is the actual intentional benefit from that. Because there isn't one. Cutting the tips of your locks for no reason is opening that lock back up, so it has to find its way again to close itself back up and come back into the lock. There's no reason to be cutting the ends of your locks unless there's buildup and they said, hey, there's buildup, what would you like to do about this? Or I really don't know a reason to cut the end of your locks unless it's like a lot of nasty buildup. I really have no idea. So, and then with cutting your locks or cutting the end of your locks, I know some people think they need to trim and cut the end of their locks because they have, I'm trying to find one. They'll have they'll have like this. They'll have this, and they think that, oh, it's just loose anyways. It's gonna fall off eventually anyways. Baby, do you know how strong your hair is? Do you know how strong your hair is? Leave it alone. Do not let them cut it, and you don't cut it either. So I know I said leave your hair alone as far as washing, like maybe 2-3 times a month max. With locks, with mature locks, maybe washing 2-3 times a month. I'm not gonna lie, I don't even do that. I think 2 times a month max is how often I wash my hair. But what I really was trying to say, wash your edge line, girls. That's why your edges don't be slick. That's why you be having white buildup in your edges, because your edge line is not clean. And this ain't just a lock tip. This a beauty standard. Especially if you do edges, wash your edge line. Especially if you wear makeup, wash your edge line. Wash your edge line every day, especially before you do your edges. And after you take off your makeup, wash your edge line, and just notice the difference when you start doing them on some clean hair, on some clean babies. Yeah, wash your edge line. Wash your edges.